So I'm editing this video right now, and it has occurred to me that it's important for me to say this was recorded 2 months ago. I'm just editing it right now. Everything is fine. You'll see what I mean by the end of the video. Anyways, enjoy. What's going on, guys? Dr. Jabal, MedSchoolInsiders.com. I am out here in beautifully overcast San Diego. Was out here celebrating my good friend's bachelor party. Had a blast with that. And now I'm staying here to film a day in the life. It's actually, I think this is gonna be a pretty good one, so make sure you're subscribed. It's gonna be launching in a few weeks. Can't really say too much about that, don't wanna give any spoilers, but it's a new day in the life video of an attending physician, and I think you guys are gonna like it. Now this video is really inspired by you guys. So to everyone who follows me on Instagram, thank you very much. I tend to get a lot of messages from people who are asking, about a certain obstacle, a certain situation, something holding them back, and whether or not they can do, surgery or become a doctor or go to medical school or something like that. And that's a very common theme amongst a lot of the DMs that I receive. So this video is really about that, and I'm just gonna give you guys a few examples. This first one, hey Kevin, I'm a first year med student interested in ortho. I don't consider myself the most dexterous and I have small hands for a guy. Is this something that can be overcome with practice, etc., etc.? The second one, this student has color blindness and he has amblyopia, so he actually doesn't have as good of depth perception. So I actually am colorblind. I have strong protonomy, that's a type of red-green color blindness. We'll talk about that in a second. And then the third message, this guy has a 3.2 GPA, he's a junior in high school, is concerned that he can't get into a good university and therefore won't be able to become a pediatrician in the future. So first off, ortho guy. Small hands are actually better for dexterity than large hands. So consider that an advantage in your favor. I have very big hands. I wear 8.5 size gloves when I was doing surgery. And that's actually not so good for dexterity. But I still worked on my skills and improved it such that I did have great dexterity. I think the underlying philosophy is that you can improve on any skill you want. Whether that's dexterity or public speaking or racing cars or being good at a certain sport or game, you can definitely improve if you apply yourself and deliberately practice. And too often we tend to pigeonhole ourselves by having these strong identities, especially the further along we go in life. Like, oh, I'm an MD, I can't do computer science or I can't do programming. One of my friends is actually multi-talented. He does fantastic video editing. He's now teaching himself machine learning and coding. And I mean, he has an MD, right? He's breaking these identities. He's learning new skills. You can learn new skills at any point in your life. So that's number one. Number two, colorblind guy. I was colorblind. I am colorblind still. I didn't change that. And I was able to do surgery just fine. And I understand that from a patient safety perspective, you don't want to put anyone at risk. But if you have a, like red-green color blindness, even a strong protonomy like I have, where my red cones definitely are not as functional as the normal person's, you can still do surgery just fine. Like the types of colors you're seeing in the human body and while you're operating are not going to limit you from, you'll be able to discern everything. For those of you who are not as familiar with color blindness, it's not like everything's black and white. It's not that you can't see red or you can't see green. It's that rather than seeing 100 million colors, we see 10 million colors. And certain colors with certain shades will look similar. And now for the third guy. It doesn't really matter what you have in terms of GPA in high school. You don't even have to go to a top university to get into a great med school. I know some people that did like Cal State in California, definitely not prestigious universities by any means, and they ended up at top 10 or top 20 medical schools. And they can, once you're there, you can go into any specialty you want. How you actually do in college and in medical school is going to be way more important than how you do in high school. But the reason why doing well in high school is so important is that it gives you those skills and those foundations that allow you to do well in college and then allow you to do well in med school. If you're struggling to get good grades in high school, how are you going to be a 4.0 student in college? You have to learn those skills. And again, going back, you can learn those skills, right? We have all these videos on the Med School Insiders channel that teach you exactly what those skills are. From Pomodoro to active learning, spaced repetition, all of these things are going to help you do much better. So that was the more like logical and more direct way of responding to what those concerns are. But beyond that, you really shouldn't give a flying f*** what I think. Okay, now if you're confused, let me explain. So I started this biomedical incubator at my medical school called BlueLink. Essentially, I got very interested in the idea that we can invent medical technologies to improve patient care. And it's really exciting, right? Because as a doctor, you're helping one-on-one each patient. But when you embed a technology, you can affect thousands or even millions of patients with that new breakthrough. So we took graduate students from the medical school, MBA students from the business school, and PhD students from the engineering school, and we put them on these interdisciplinary teams. We said, hey, you guys are gonna work together, and we're gonna provide the resources, the tools, the funding, the mentorship over 6 months, 12 months to help you guys create healthcare startups. So a really exciting concept, and a lot of people love this idea, but it's kind of a huge undertaking because you got to get all of these different schools, like the med school and the business school and the engineering school. They don't normally work together. Getting 2 of them to work together is already a big deal. Getting 3 of them to work together, and then we have the design school as well. I mean, it's just a huge ordeal. Now, it took over a year from me starting on this to actually getting our first cohort. And during that time, spoke to a lot of different faculty, a lot of different advisors. And there were 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 different people who are like literally twice my age. They've been at the university for a lot longer than I have. And they told me in different ways, essentially, hey, good idea. You're not the first person to think of this. We had this idea in the past. We tried it. It doesn't work. And in fact, it's not going to work for reasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. I am very busy. I don't want to waste my time helping you with this project because, again, it's not going to work. But, thanks for reaching out, and seriously, just like stop working on this. It's not going to go anywhere. Now, I obviously had 2 ways of responding to that. Either, well, shit, these 3 people have already tried. They know a lot more than me. They're experts on this stuff. They've been here a lot longer. I should just stop. Or I can say, I'm going to make it happen. Now, that's not to be delusional, right? I took their advice. They had these reasons why it's not going to work. Reasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. The school, university is structured this way. The funding structure is this way. We've tried this and that. So rather than saying, oh, screw that, forget you, or like, how dare you question me, I'm going to do this regardless, that's not what I'm saying. What I can instead do is say, hey, you know what? I'm going to look at all those different reasons, and I'm going to dissect them each. And I'm going to figure out how can I address and overcome each of those obstacles that they faced, so that I now have the knowledge. I'm taking advantage of their own struggles, their failed attempts, and using that to make sure that my attempt is going to be successful. And long story short, that's exactly what happened. It blew up, we got funding, we got news coverage, it was awesome. Now the same thing applies to all these DMs I'm receiving from Instagram. You don't need permission from anyone to do these things that you want to do. Now, something that I would tell myself when I was struggling with this and having doubts myself is that people in the past, they've had far greater obstacles and yet accomplished far greater achievements. So who am I to complain or say, hey, I can't do this little thing? Now again, that's not a matter of being delusional and saying, oh, I'm gonna like do some impossible stuff and ignore my health and ignore all these other factors. It's this balance of listening to other people, taking feedback, and yet having enough self-confidence and self-assuredness to know when you should push and maybe go against the advice of other people. And I think being able to navigate that comes from experience. So you have these small wins, you take these small risks, and then over time, based on your achievements, your successes, and your failures, you start having a better ability to really find that balance, knowing when you should push and when you shouldn't. So there's always value, even when people disagree with you. So let's take Med School Insiders as an example. The first ever video, old iPhone 6, like $10 or $15 tripod, a pen with, well, just one color, really small handwriting, super monotone voice. There were so many things that were just wrong with the production quality of that video. I didn't even know how to edit. I had to like do so many takes because I didn't know how to cut and edit, and it was all sorts of bad. And people told me, and some of them not so nicely, were telling me how my voice is monotone and how it sucks and how you can't read anything and how this is so boring and all these things. Now, I could take that in 2 different ways. I could get butthurt and then, say, ah, you don't know anything, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. Or I could say, hey, you know what? This person's delivery is not optimal, but I think they have some value. There's some truth to what they're actually saying. Now, obviously I did the latter. And if you look at the first video, and you look at the current videos, we've come a long way. And in fact, if you look at our growth, we started from 0 subscribers. I didn't have any Instagram presence, I didn't have a Facebook presence, like ground zero, nothing, just start a YouTube channel. 0 subscribers, October of 2016. In 6 months, 100,000. In 11 months, we hit 200,000. Less than a year, we passed 200,000 subscribers. And I'm not trying to say this to say, oh, I'm so great or whatever. I was definitely lucky for that to happen. That being said, I think a huge part of the channel's success is having the right mindset. It's actually taking the feedback that I receive from you guys, and even if it's, not sugar-coated, and if it's like kind of inflammatory and mean or whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna derive value from what you're saying, and I'm gonna implement it if I think it's good advice or good feedback. So another example, Recent video, an update on my decision to quit residency. And same thing. Had, of course, some people that were really like personally offended that I quit residency and how dare you, you're such an idiot for reasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I don't really care whether or not I get some stranger's approval on my decision. That's completely irrelevant to me in my life, but I can still get value from it, right? So I can see how are they thinking? How do they view life? They see these reasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that makes it seem so ridiculous for me to quit plastic surgery residency, and that's an opening into their mindset, into their way of thinking. And there's value there that I can extract if I'm willing to. If I'm willing to not get butthurt and just throw up a shield and try to protect my super sensitive feelings. As a lot of you guys know, I have Crohn's disease. Not very fun. In fact, it's the worst currently than it has been in a long time. I am on steroids for the first time in like 8 years, or maybe 9 years, which it's not good, right? But the same principle holds true. Mindset over everything. Do I enjoy having Crohn's? No. Is life fair though? No. At the end of the day, I am the only one that gets to assign meaning, that gets to decide how I feel about my own situation. So I'm not saying that I'm gonna like go outside and start skipping on the streets, like start dancing and singing songs about how much I love Crohn's. I mean, let's be real, I'd rather not have it, but I can extract meaning from it. And I'm the one that gets to author the story, the narrative that I tell myself. So are there good things that have come from it? Absolutely. What skills have I learned? What ways has it disciplined me? What things have I learned about the world and my life, and how do I approach my life now differently than I would have without Crohn's disease? So are there times when I get frustrated? Well, yeah, after you take the 14th deuce in a single day, I'm not gonna lie, you're probably gonna be a little frustrated, but that's the exact opportunity when you should start taking it a little more lightly. Like, I'll crack jokes with my friends or my family. I'll like make fun of myself or just crack jokes about the situation. Like, if you can't take yourself seriously, then what's the point of life? Anyways, I'm not trying to worry anybody. I'm on steroids. I've been tapering down. I'm feeling a lot better already. I'll be back to my normal self in a few weeks. So I hope this video was helpful to a certain extent. I'm not here to tell you how to think or what to believe or what mindset you should specifically have. But what I think is important is that you question your own assumptions. You question, anytime you have that negative thought or those negative emotions, ask yourself, is that helping you? Can you change it? Is there a different way of going about these things? Is there a different way of approaching the situation that actually helps you and helps other people? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in that next one.